Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything, and I am coming at you with another Wargaming and miniature video. In today's video, we're going to continue on with our What's in the Box series. And in today's What's in the Box, we're going to be talking about what's in these blisters. In these What's in the Box videos, what I normally do is I'll take product and I will open it up and we'll review it and take a close look at the details and basically give you an insight of what you would be purchasing if you bought those products. And it will help you make a decision on whether or not you want to buy these things as well. And that's what these videos are all about. All right, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about Battlefront's dice sets. They're divisional dice sets. And they make these for Flames of War, but you can use them for any war game, any role-playing game, whatever you're playing. Like if you're playing D&D, you can still roll these D6, obviously. Okay, now I've got 3 sets in front of us. We see the 6th British paratroopers dice. These are the Pegasus patches, and then we also have the U.S. 82nd Airborne Division All-Americans. We have the German FullSchumacher. You might notice that all of these are paratroopers. The FullSchumacher dice set, and then these 2 sets of dice right there actually come included with the Hit the Beach starter set. And so I wanted to kind of show you what they are all about. Now let's start with the Hit the Beach starter set, and that's mainly because it's already out of the packaging. It came in, it's a Ziploc bag, of course, in the box. You get 20 dice. I've already taken all these dice, these, and these, and I've already pre-tested and I rolled them, and it seems like most of the dice are, or I've only rolled it a few times, and they all seem to come up a fairly random selection. You get any numbers from 1 to 6, obviously. Okay, now there's a unique quality of these gray dice that I discovered while rolling these dice. You look at the green dice, and you can see that the number 2 is at a diagonal angle to the die itself. But if you look at the gray dice, their numbers are straight up and down. Not that that matters, but it was just kind of an anecdotal thing to notice. These dice are your traditional 12 millimeter dice. These are 10 millimeter squares. This is a 12 millimeter die. It would be the same as dice that you would normally get out of like a Chessex brick, right? Okay. So that's your traditional smaller die that you would that you would see. I like smaller dice normally, not the super small ones, but I like smaller dice because I can get more in my hand, and when you're rolling it on the table, you're not rolling these big blocks that roll across the table and destroy all your miniatures, right? These are lighter weight, smaller, they have a better footprint on the table. They don't take up a lot of space, and you can put more in your hand where you can roll them if you needed to roll 20 dice. All right, so let's take a look at these All-American dice. Flames of War, or I should say Battlefront, for their Flames of War game, create these divisional tins or force tins, which have a lot of tokens and stuff like that in them, and they include a few of these dice. I personally like the dice set because it's about $13 to $15, and you get 20 die, and the quality of the die seems to be very nice. Okay, we're going to open this up, take a look at them. Now, these dice are not 12 millimeter. They are 1/100 scale. No, they're not. Dice don't have a scale. Okay, so the Flames War is 1/100 scale, which is 15 millimeter. But these dice are actually 14 millimeters in width, right? The All-American logo is done very well. It's very smooth. It's probably under the gloss coating. It's not going to rub off as easy as you might think. Okay, and they roll very well. You'll also notice that this is a very nice olive drab. It's an olive drab that I can get myself behind. I like that olive drab. Okay. Now, before we progress on to any of these other dice, I want to share a little history about myself and dice. When I was younger, I was an amateur magician. I performed shows and I even went to school for magic. So what's under my sleeve kind of deal, right? Okay. And I learned a few tricks using dice, but here's one I want to share with you because this might be something that you could use in your gaming, but it also could be used just to play tricks on your friends or whatever. I don't know if you know this, but there's a certain quality about these dice that some people just don't even know, or they've overlooked, or they haven't even realized. But there's a trick you can do. You can give any number of dice, right? You can give like a whole handful of dice. I wouldn't go too big, but you can give a handful of dice to your friends. And then you could say, take any number of those dice, stack them on top of each other, and I, as a magician, will be able to tell you what the pips that are hidden total up to, what the value of the pips that are hidden are. And you don't have to choose the same. You can pick any of these dice. You can do two. You can do all of them, whatever you want to do. So let's just say they decide to pick 4 dice and they stack them on top of each other. Right? Now I'm going to stack it like that. Okay, I'm just a random stack. Now as a magician, I know what the total of the hidden pips are. I don't have to look around the die. If you do, you'll kind of you'll give them. They'll think you're doing. They think you're doing math or whatever. But I can figure out the total without looking around all the dice, right? So I'm going to count 28. That's my total. 28. Let's see if that's correct. 6, right? Because that's the D6. So that's 6, 7, 13, right? So far we're at 13, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 27. What did I say it was? Oh, I think I said it was 27. Okay, so how did I figure that out? Well, here's the trick. And this is common to all dice, all D6. You don't have to use these 82nd Airborne dice. You can use any D6 because all manufacturers do this. The total of the 2 opposite sides of a die are always 7. Always. So a 3 will be compared against a 4. A 6 will go against a 1. A 5 will go against a 2. What, my thumb? A 2 and a 5. There you go. So they're always going to be 7. 100% of the time. Always a 7. So what I did was I took the 3 dice, multiplied it by 7, because those will all be hidden. So that's 21. Whoa, 21. Minus 2 from the 7, right? So we're looking at 5. So 5 plus 21. That's going to be 28. Almost always. That's how you figure it out. And if the 3 was showing, it would be 20. There'd be 4 on the bottom hidden, so it would be 25, you know, or whatever. If there's only 2 dice, then you know it's 7 plus whatever the other side of the 2 is, which is 5, right? So 7 plus 5. If they put 10 dice up there, then basically you go 7 times 9 plus whatever that top die is, the hidden number. All dice are like that. Little anecdote. Okay, so let's take a look at the 6th Airborne. Now, the 6th Airborne participated in the Normandy assault, D-Day, as opposed to their brethren, which was the 1st Airborne, which participated in the Arnhem Market Garden. So looking at these dice, they look really good. We're going to take a look at the Pegasus Rider. So there is a character, a Valkyrie probably, riding the Pegasus. Okay, let's see if I can get some kind of autofocus happening. There we go. So we got a Pegasus and a Valkyrie. You know, looks really good. But something I want to point out about these dice are the green. You know, just by casual glance, you would say, hey, these are OD green. Well, they're technically not. This is olive drab. That's kind of an English green or an army green. So it's a little bit different, American green or whatever that green is called, where this is your olive drab. You notice how it's got a little bit of that brown in it. It's like a brown violet. I also rolled these, and they roll very well as well. Now, these FullSchumacher dice, it says it's late war, and it's German. Well, it's definitely German, but FullSchumachers took part in early war battles, late war battles. I don't know why they say that. They just needed to. They should say early. It should say, what does it say? E, M, and L, early, mid, and late. That's what should be on there, in my opinion. Unless this is a specific FullSchumacher, like maybe a 6th or a 17th FullSchumacher, and they might have only participated in certain battles. But that's not what it says. It just says FullSchumacher. You'll notice that all of these are airborne, right? Because I'm big into that. Okay, so now there's a little trigger warning on this die that if you're offended by this, then I feel sorry for you, because history is history, and there is a swastika on that logo, and I just want to let you know that I personally don't care. I care that the atrocities happened and the Nazis did some bad things, and they were the enemy, and yeah, you don't ever want to repeat history, etc., right? Okay, I get that. But I also want you to understand how I feel, in that if this is the accurate logo, and historically the logo had that symbol on it, then I expect this logo to have the symbol on it. I don't expect it to be blurred out. I don't expect it to be blacked out, because if it is, then it's not the actual symbol. And I'm more into the history than the politics, right? I want to see the symbology, right? Same thing like an air recognition flag that might be draped over a half track, might be a bright red flag with a swastika in the middle of it. If that's correct and that's accurate, then that's what I want on my miniatures. I don't want to sugarcoat it, right? I don't want to hide it. I don't want to embrace it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to, what's the word? Like, justify it or make it more, what's the word? Ideology. I'm not trying to idolize it. But what I am trying to do is recreate history. And because that's an actual historical thing, I don't want to ignore it. Okay, so let's take a look at what I'm talking about. And it's kind of hard to see, which is probably a good thing. Most people would never notice. But if you look at this hawk, right, he's got a wreath around him, but he's holding in his hot little hands a swastika. Well, guess what? Just grabbed a different one. It's the exact same logo. Yeah, so failing that, I just want to say I appreciate that Flames of War stuck to their guns, kept it historical, didn't shy away from some bullshit woke, whatevers, and kept it historically accurate. Come on, focus. Where are you at? And okay, now speaking of colors, I really like the color black on the table. I think it, well, of course, on a black table like this, it works really good. But I love the yellow with the black. I mean, I've seen white, I've seen reds, I've seen blues. Red and black is pretty good for my Traveler games, but this yellow, I really like this color combination. I don't know what it is about it. I like this color combination. I like the fact that these dice are 14 millimeter. So they're not the 12 millimeter small dice, but they're also not the 16 millimeter jumbo dice. These guys are 14 millimeter, so they're a good size in the hand. They're meaty. You got some girth to them, but they're also not giants, right? And they roll pretty good. I rolled all of these, and they all seem to be very random. So that was a good thing. All right, well, thanks for coming out and checking out this weird, unusual what's in the box. And be sure to come out and check out my other product open boxings so that you can see exactly what you get in each box. All right, I'll catch you in the next one.